When something actually interests me, I'll work on it for 6 hours straight and forget to eat. But give me one boring task, like sending a single email, and I'll put it off for 3 days. And the weird part is, the boring one is much easier. Sending an email is easier than 6 hours of hard work. The email is the thing that I can't make myself do. Every job that I've had eventually turned into that email. For years, people told me that the problem was discipline, but it was never about discipline. And trying harder just never worked out. It took me a long time to figure out why, and it comes down to one thing. An ADHD brain runs on interest, plain and simple. It's not about importance, and it's not about willpower. When something interests you, the focus shows up on its own. When it bores you, it simply doesn't matter how important it is or how hard you push. It won't come. There's a second thing happening, and this is the one that affects jobs exactly. But interest on its own doesn't explain why a job in particular grinds you down. Your brain barely reacts to a reward that's far away and not guaranteed. Think about what a job actually is. You do something boring on Tuesday for money that shows up 2 weeks later. That reward is so far off that your brain doesn't even register it as a reason to do anything right now. So you sit there and can't get started, and you decide that you must be lazy. But you're not lazy. The reward your whole job runs on is the exact kind that your brain ignores. And most of the career advice that you've been given is answering the wrong question. The standard advice is to follow your passion, find something stable, or pick a lane and commit. All of it assumes that you can make yourself do work that bores you, as long as you pick the right one. But you can't, and that's really the problem. But the question that matters isn't what's the best career for ADHD, because there's no single answer to that anyway. It's which work will your brain actually do day after day without you forcing it every single time. So picking the wrong work can quietly cost you years. And I've been through this, so I'm sharing you my experience now. So you don't have to do the same thing as me and waste years of your life. The real cost isn't just about being unproductive. And here's how it happens. You've probably lived this loop already. You start somewhere new, and the first few weeks are fine because it's new, and new is interesting. And then the novelty wears off. Your focus slips and you start to dread it. Eventually you burn out or you quit, and then you get another job that makes sense, right? And the whole cycle starts again. You've been through that loop more than once. It's not that you're flaky. Every one of those jobs ran the same boring, far-off reward. So none of them gave your brain what it needs. So what do you actually do about this? You've basically got two roads that you can go down. Road number one is finding a job that fits how your brain works. And the second road is build something of your own. And this one is actually a trap. Both can work, and I'll cover both. The second road has a trap that takes almost everyone out who tries it. And this is the single most important thing in this whole video, so keep that in the back of your mind and I'll come back to it. So stop fighting with your brain and start working with how it actually runs. Some of us are fine with structured, repetitive work, running a process, keeping things in order. But a lot of us need variety or creative problems. Or we lose all interest by the middle of the week. So start by being honest about which brain you've got. It's not the same for everyone with ADHD. If you've been through the trials enough, you probably already know which one you are. The mistake that nearly everyone makes is chasing the job that they think they should want, instead of the one that they can actually sit down and do. If you go the job route, there's one thing you can't skip. You need a skill that someone will pay for. That part is the most important part, right? It can be video editing, designing, something online. Like honestly, the online internet bubble is huge right now. You can land a pretty well-paying job from 60K to 100K without a college degree. Somebody needs to be able to pay for it. But whether you have ADHD or not, you need both. You need a skill, and you need to be in a career path that somebody actually pays money for. But the caveat is that if the job that fits you doesn't exist yet, don't wait around waiting for it. Take the closest fit that you can get right now. Something that uses what you're good at, but isn't so boring that it breaks you. My job is like that, and it took the past few career pivots to get there. It's not my dream job, but it uses what I'm good at. And it's not boring enough to break me. It gives me a base to build everything else on. There's something nobody tells you about actually landing that job. The standard advice is to apply everywhere. Fire off 100 applications. That's what it takes. But for an ADHD brain, that advice is poison. It's the most boring, repetitive test that there is. But you also get the most far-off, uncertain reward that there is. And like I said at the beginning of the video, it's the same exact email that you can't send over 100 times. When I was job hunting, I physically could not send 15 identical applications. My brain just wouldn't. So I actually sent way fewer, very personalized emails. And I made each one into something that I was actually into. So I pick a company that I genuinely wanted to work for. When I put real work into the application, I'd make it personalized, talk about who I was, make something very specific related to them. And just like that, it wasn't a chore anymore. It became a project for me. A passion project, if you will. You can't grind the way that every single person tells you. So Don't try. Turn the thing that you have to do into something that your brain will actually engage with. And that's exactly what I did by turning these applications into projects. That's the job route. But like I said, there's two. The second one is the one that I actually care about the most. Whatever you end up doing for work, I build something of your own on the side too. Not as a hustle, but as work that your brain actually wants to do. You need to be able to fulfill yourself, not to be stuck inside of a job. And not because ADHD is some kind of superpower. It really isn't. And being told that over and over makes you feel worse when your brain won't cooperate. So I'd let that whole idea go. The real reason is much simpler. When something is yours, it's new and you're the one steering it. And that's the exact kind of work that makes an ADHD brain keep coming back to it. The job will cover your bills, but the thing that you build on the side becomes part of your work that you actually look forward to. And now back to that trap. This is the part that actually matters the most. It's built right into how ADHD works with your brain. The same thing that makes a new project exciting, the newness, is the thing that is going to vanish. 3 weeks in and your shiny new project will turn into another boring task. So you drop it and you start a new one because this one feels good again. Then the new one stops being new, so you drop that and you start the next one. And this curve repeats every single time with less and less confidence. So you have a graveyard of half-finished projects behind you. Does actually your brain doing exactly what it does? Chasing a new thing and dropping it the second it stops being new. You have to plan for the moment that it stops being fun, because that moment is what decides whether you end up with a real thing or just another abandoned project. So you need to build the boring parts into a system ahead of time while you're still excited, because the excitement is not coming back to carry you through them. This channel is my own example that what you're watching right now. This is the thing that I'm building on the side. But I've hit that exact wall with it too, the point where it stops being new and it's turning into work. The work after the 9 to 5. So the only reason I'm still going is because I built the boring parts into a system before I needed them. I built systems to make slides like this using Claude. I know exactly how to research for the right stuff. And I know how to edit these videos in a way that's engaging and actually informative without overbearing the audience. So you need to build your system out of what you're already good at, plus the stuff that you can't stop thinking about. This combination is so specific to you that nobody else has it. And that's where your best work is going to come from. So if I had to boil the whole thing down, stop trying to white knuckle your way through work that you were never built for. Figure out exactly what your brain will engage with. Get the best fitting job that actually pays the bills, and build your own thing alongside it. And when the new thing stops becoming new, which it will, have a system ready for when it stops feeling new. It's not what I was ever told to do, but it's the best setup that's ever held for me. But one more thing before I go. This whole video has been about choosing the right work, but there's a second half to it. There's choosing the right work and sitting down to focus once you've got it, on the days where your brain doesn't want to. And it's the same exact root problem as the job. So what I've done is I put my whole system into a free thing I made called the Mongrel Stack. It focuses on your body first, the exact step-by-step that I use every single day, and I hold nothing back. It's the first link that you'll see down in the description. So anyways, sort your work out first and everything will become a lot easier when you do. I hope you found this informative. If you enjoyed, follow along for more. Peace out.